Hi, I'm Rosa Martinez, and I am grateful to be back to the Salon Guy's channel, so thank you for having me. And today we're going to be talking about how to incorporate finger waves into a nice soft style for prom or wedding or something a little bit more formal, just because finger waves are taking a whole new change and coming into the new trends. And since history repeats itself, I want to show some cool little tricks that we can do it in an easy form for prom and for awesome looks. So since we're talking about finger waves and we're focusing more on the front part of the style, I set my model a little bit ahead of time. So the way I did that was to section sort of from the top of the head where it curves right behind the ear. And we're gonna do from a side ponytail so I can show that look. So when considering where to start the first wave on the head, I look for the frame of the face and how the natural fall is coming down from their head, especially that I'm doing it a soft, more of a vintage wave. And I sectioned my model's hair a little bit more of a dramatic straight back part. So it shows exactly where her hair and the hairline is actually separating. So it'll give it a nice soft, more appealing look within the eyes. With the curls, we're gonna go horizontal partings, all curved, going under. And then I'm just gonna set them to cool them off as I go down. I take 1 inch of the hair, horizontal partings, and I'm going to go pull the hair all the way up and curl down, almost as if I was doing a pin curl. So then I take my curling iron. The little trick I like to use is like to just set the front piece so that you don't get the indentation of the curling iron on the side. I use that as a flat iron a little bit, and I go right into it, into the hair, a little bit about, still keeping it up, straight up at a 90 degree, and just start curling inward, holding my ends so that my ends, I don't lose them in the front. And that way it keeps it an even consistency of heat. And I set that a little bit in there, and I try to hold that section so that it doesn't lose exactly where I want to set. So now that I have my curls, my pin curls all set, I'm actually going to let them all cool off and then work on my style in the back. And since I'm working off of this ponytail, I'm gonna keep some of the natural wave. So I'm gonna work with her natural curl, which is why I didn't blow dry it in the first place, to set those cuticles in the direction that I wanted to do. Where normally for formal hair or any sort of updos, you want to make sure that all cuticles are going in the direction that you're intended to do with your style. For the most part, with her off section, I did not cover the ponytail yet. I'm actually going to work on covering it with styling on the ends, and just mostly because she has a lot of hair, and usually for prom looks or things like that, they tend to have a lot of hair or want a lot of hair with extensions. Not even worrying about setting it too much, just so that the ends look a little bit polished. Because again, I want that soft, sort of like I kind of did the bun myself look, and yet tie it in with something that's a little bit more directed in the curls from the front area. Since I'm tucking the ends, I'm not really too focused on having everything be too curly. But if you cannot control those ends, then definitely feel free to go into the style and smooth it a little bit more if you feel it's necessary. Something a little bit more formal of a curl like that. That's about all I want to work to tie this top layer that she has, these little soft pieces, to tie to the most of where her hair is falling. So once I have the texture that I'm looking for, next step is to actually create some sort of bouffant. In this area, you want to be as creative as you want to, because again, we're going to tie the front into the back. Nothing too distressed back here, being that this is smoothed out a little bit more. So I'm actually going to do a little technique of kind of like bubbling the hair in here using rubber bands, and then just giving like a cool, smooth bouffant. Before I finish to do the next bun here to make it bubble a little bit, I'm actually going to fish the rest of this through so I have a little bit more movement and style to it. So it's almost as if like shows a little bit more if I did a finger wave or if I curled it a lot. So you see how that shows a little bit more texture to it, and you can have a little bit more fun with this style. Okay, so I have my texture of the ponytail where I want it to be. And now I'm just going to work on making it the bun that I'm going to achieve in the back. And just keep in mind where you hold it is kind of where you want to pin it. I use these strong 3-inch U-pins So then I take in this, they have a good grip to them, and I take it right where I'm holding the hair, and I go right into it and push it right down. And I can, until I feel more secure, I'm going to let that go. So I do like 1 or 2 to secure it first, and then I can work on the bobby pins. Once I'm happy and satisfied with my bun and my bouffant area, then I'll spray it a little bit with some medium hold of a hairspray to your discretion, and just kind of go over any flyaways, any sort of missing little pieces that you want to secure a little bit, and also just to finish it so it's not going to move. So now next step we're going to do is take down our curling pieces that we did previously for the finger waves, and it's mostly because it's already cooled off enough after doing the style here in the back, so then I can let it go and it's going to have the hold that I'm looking for. So I'm going to take out my pins and just let all the curls go, and you could almost already see the finger wave kind of creating in itself. And with the comb, I use a comb that's like a rake like this, and then I'll pull it down so that I can then start to really style into my, my finger waves. Working from the ends and working my way all the way up. So now I can preset exactly where I want to start my wave, being that we've kind of set it exactly to frame the face here. So I'm going to work off this wave, but first I'm actually going to tease a little bit in there so it can hold and set exactly where I want it to be. I'm going to section it off, and when you go to tease in, you want to go a little bit tighter than something like this. So I would use the thinner side of a comb or actual teasing comb. And when the trick of teasing is, or back combing I would say, is not to stay in there and go up and down. You want to almost scoop it like a C formation and go in and come out. And scoop it into a C formation, go in and come out. And that can control a lot more of the hold there. So go right into it as deep as you want. So back comb and pull that over to that side. And I'm working it a little bit to the mid shaft, mostly because I don't want to have these lines separated from the teasing. And just pull it all the way back over without distressing the back part of the head. Either duckbill clips, something like this, or put like a paper towel and a finger wave clip, or a silver clip, a little tiny pin curl clip, and like literally just clip it right where the first wave is. So I use these clips or a paper towel holding into a clip so that I don't get any indentations, and I want like the smoothness of each of the hair to kind of flow in unison. I don't want to have any sort of indents or anything like that with the hairspray setting onto the hair and having like that hold there, but you just still need a little bit of a hold. So as you're working with the wave, and you see how I see my little wave in here, I'm going to put another clip the opposite direction. As I'm holding my section here and I'm keeping it with a little bit of tension, I'm going to brush a little bit to make my hairs all go a little bit smoother and all in the same direction. So now that we have our finger waves set in place and we have our clips to hold our wave that we want to achieve, we're left with the ends, and it's like, what do you do with this? At this point, it's as creative as you want it to be. You want to maybe like go into it and like set it right into underneath the ponytail, or do another if the person has a lot more hair in the front. You can do again like the rubber band and kind of flip it in there. But being that we have such beautiful curl that we're going to work with, and her set in the back, it's already where we want it to be. The key ingredient now is to not move any of the waves that we already set, and to kind of keep the balance as we go in. You don't want to just pull right on top and just pin, because then she's a little off balance. So in this part, when you're doing updos, please take a moment and look all around. Have your girl give almost as a 360 view of her hair and her face. Ask her what is she wearing, what type of dress is she gonna wear. Depending on the top of the cut, you might want to make it in a little bit more or take it out a little bit more. So this part in here is like kind of like that finished piece that's going to set the whole look. So now we have everything all set, and the last piece of the puzzle is to take out the clips without moving any of your waves. So softly hold the section, and just if you feel any pulls, any tags, just go with a little soft hand and any flyaways. You can set with a a grip or a hairpin. So I'm just going to actually push on this front piece of my clip, grab it, and slightly move out. Push on the front to lift it up, pull, open it, slightly move out. But you see how we got a little bit of that grip in there? It's not what I want to yank out. I need to be a little bit softer. Right in here and pull right out. Any sort of flyaways or any pieces that are sticking up that you don't want to show. So I use a little hairspray and then I'll tuck right in. And just using this just slightly to lay down any flyaways. I hope that my little tricks and the things that work for me can work for you guys, and I really thank you so much for having me on The Salon Guy. Thank you.